Denny Hamlin is the Dallas Cowboys of NASCAR.
There's no hiding that wasn't intentional. Is that the moment that derails Denny Hamlin's 2025 championship? There's just a lot of things that scream, I'm pissed. I don't like where we are. I don't like anything that's happening. We all want to see Kyle Busch win. I've hated Kyle Busch with a passion. I can't imagine Kyle Busch going out like this. Welcome to Kevin Harvick's Happy Hour, presented by NASCAR on Fox. I'm Kevin Harvick. She's Kaitlyn Vincie. And that guy.
And that guy. I'm glad you didn't say favorite cheetah.
I thought
for sure you were about to do it.
Kaitlyn's part of it. I feel like there's a group called the Cheetah Girls or something.
That was like a Nickelodeon thing.
Oh,
it?
yeah.
Maybe back in the day.
I don't know, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, fit looks great though.
Hey, thanks. I try. What about Kevin? This is a relaxed, cool Kev.
This is cool. Right? This is cool, Kev. Look, Kevin never wears hats. He never wears hoodies. And these shoes that he has on, very like skater-esque. Yeah.
I do like the colors.
Yeah.
So olive green.
Yeah. Who put this together for you today, Kevin?
I did.
Oh.
Yeah.
And he's got the colors.
I got dressed today and I was like, you know what? I'm going to dumb this all the way down to Mamba today. And I'm going to find my oldest hoodie, my stinkiest hat, and my most comfortable shoes. So here I am.
And you look great.
This was a conscious effort then.
Yeah. He's trying to be like me. And you came close. But if you notice, I got my Kevin Harvick white J's on. So
there you go. Yeah, hey, how was the weekend back in your homeland?
Oh my God. I love this. There's nothing I love more than going back home.
Yeah.
And seeing all the things that I used to see. And it really reminds you of why you loved this thing, being at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. And then the fans.
Fans are awesome.
They're awesome. And they were just so excited. We had this happy hour show that we did after me, Jose.
It was called Happy Hour.
It was called Happy Hour. It was cool. Honestly, we should
thinking the same thing.
Maybe next year take the show on the road a little bit because it was packed out. They had so much fun. Ricky Craven was up there, Kurt Busch. Nice. They talked about that whole thing. Ricky Craven's like the GOAT for New England.
Yep.
And it was just really cool. And there was a lot of closers up there. A lot.
I've told you guys, that's a heck of a region up there for my fan base. It was always one of the better fan bases that we had. And they're very passionate. And I think some of that passion comes from the fact that they know in about 2 months they won't be able to come out of their house.
Seriously, though.
It could have been snow. I mean, it was beautiful. It was like 69.
Yeah. Perfect.
Saturday, I think there was like 21,000 people in the stands for the truck race. Then 1,000 stayed for cup practice and qualifying. Yeah. There was like over 3,000 campers. Like, they deserve.
I love the fact that it's a one race.
Yes.
I think that this is another great example of making one great race instead of having two mediocre races. Like when you look at Kansas, it'll be subpar in the grandstands this weekend. The first one's subpar. And I think, a one race town is Loudon, Kansas, those types of places.
Pocono.
Look what it did for Pocono, right? So I love the race fans up in the Northeast. They're just so passionate.
Yes, they are. They showed up big time. I did notice that for the truck race. I was like, we have a great crowd here today.
You just kept looking up and it was like,
wow, is there any fall there? The leaves have all changed.
The leaves are changing.
Well, technically, it's not already fall, but it looks like it.
It looks like it. Yeah. When does fall start then? Technically.
Yeah. Well, I had to have my daughter tell me this the other day.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, it's in a couple weeks.
Okay.
So you don't know exactly.
I don't remember the exact date, but it's not yet because I said, it looks like fall outside, Piper. She's like, no, it's not fall yet, Dad.
Oh, Tyler just told me the research department says it actually starts today.
Oh.
So you corrected me.
Yeah.
And you're wrong.
Yeah, so you'll be wrong tomorrow.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I can't. This is already going well. Welcome in to episode 66 here on Harvick's Happy Hour. We have a lot to discuss, leaving Loudon, some storylines we weren't necessarily anticipating. And you have your sips.
We got sips. We got a little cross sports.
Cross
sips.
sports. Yeah, I like that.
Cross sport? Like cross country?
No, crossing sports.
Oh.
Crossover.
Crossover.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
The old crossover.
Yeah.
Okay, so Team Penske, they really showed up when it came to Loudon this past weekend.
Those yellow cars. I love how Gabehart categorized them as yellow cars. And I think it's very specific to the 12 and the 22.
Yeah.
It's just...
Look, here's the deal. You haven't seen the Penske cars. Let's think back to last year. Penske cars, awful, right? To start the season. Joey Logano goes to North Wilkesboro, does the test. Veteran pro leader. Goes to the test. They figure something out. Off they go. Joey Logano goes to Loudon. All you heard when he comes back from Loudon, how fast that the 22 car was. They show back up. All the Penske cars are fast on the pole, on the front row. Josh Berry, Ryan Blaney, Joey Logano leading laps. And that's why you got to take your guy to the tests, because you don't get many of them. And as much as you want to send all the other guys to the test, there are not everybody is capable of taking your car and making it better. A guy like Joey Logano is. There's not very many of them that can go do stuff like that to do the development and dig you out of a hole. But he's dug them out of a hole. And they're back. And they're going into they got to victory lane. Logano had a great weekend and got a lot of points. Blaney's in there. And so when you look at the way that went for them, that was what they needed. And I think that it's a little later than it was over the last couple of years, but they're back on the tracks.
It just seems like you can never count them out when it comes to this time of the year. We've seen it multiple years in a row now. I saw you tweeted you regretted not picking Ryan Blaney.
Yeah,
which is a rare occasion.
Well, yeah, it's because you guys understand. Anyone who watches the show understands my picks usually turn into a
disaster.
Little bit of a soup sandwich.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So. But he's been fast here. They've had good cars. He haven't had a great finishes, but they've been fast over the last couple of years. And this year, the 12, I think, again, was toting the flag for the team, for the group, all year, like in the mix, about 7th. I think he averaged somewhere between like 7th and 9th every week. And then all of a sudden, they got to the second half of the year, and it's like, okay, they started chipping away.
But it was lights out this weekend. From
out.
The time that those cars rolled off of pit road for the 12. I mean, when you look at practice and the speed that 12 car had, and you listen to the commentators talk, and you look at the lap times and everything, that thing was a bullet. And then you look at Logano. I mean, he out-qualified him by 1/10 and a half for the pole. So I can't emphasize enough how important those tests are to take the right guy.
I think, and you look at Hendrick, switching gears a little bit, Hendrick was a part of a test at Gateway, and they felt like, talking to a lot of their crew this week, they felt like they found some stuff for the flat tracks.
Absolutely made them better.
It made it better. So you look at William Byron, he ran pretty well. Kyle Larson had some spurts of old Kyle Larson. So like, having, to Kevin's point, you got to take whoever maybe can take in information the best and give you back what you need. That's your driver you need to take to help your whole organization.
Yeah, and I think when you look at it from a manufacturer standpoint, when you take when Ford sends a subpar team, and I would say anybody but Penske, if it were me having to pick who got to go to all the tests, and even when I was driving still, and they would say, well, it's not our turn to go test. You don't get very many of those tests. You got to take your guy. Yeah. And sometimes your guy doesn't want to go. Sometimes it's not fair to the other teams, but if you really want to keep getting ahead, you got to have the guy at those tests to be able to do it. What's fair doesn't matter. You want to be fast, or you want it to be fair.
Josh Berry went 4th out in qualifying and sat on the pole until a Penske teammate came up.
Yeah, I have him written down next because Ryan said it was the hardest 20 laps he's driven to keep Josh Berry behind him. This was great to see because we've obviously documented how hard the playoffs were for him. What did you see out of Josh?
Well, I think when you look back at Josh Berry's playoff performance and really the second half of the year, it hasn't been great. They've had some crazy things happen, but I still think that when you look at this type of performance, it shows the capability of the race team. Josh Berry himself, his crew chief, and that whole 21 car to be able to put the speed together when they can put all the pieces in the right place. And they were right on par with the rest of the Penske organization this weekend as far as speed. And you got to remember, he got spun out in the second stage to battle back. And on older tires there at the end, still had a great shot to race with Ryan Blaney and be able to compete for the win. So exactly what the 21 team needed to be able to put themselves in a position. And let's not forget how all this works, right? You got the top 4 that go to the championship race. That's 1, 2, 3, 4 in the point. So 5th through 16th are still racing for their spot once they get shuffled back into the playoffs. So still a lot to race for these guys that aren't in the playoffs and out already, because at some point the next 4 guys are going to get eliminated, and they're going to be, what they've done will be tallied up to see how you seed the points from 6 to 16.
I'm glad you brought that up, because a lot we don't talk about that, right? It's all about whoever is running for the championship.
You want to hear how this rule was made?
That is, was this a Kevin Harvick? Was this the beginning of the Dunn Committee?
This was one of the first Dunn Committee decisions. Yeah. Oh. I walked in when we changed to this format. Brian France was sitting in the meeting, and he was explaining, super mad, by the way. I couldn't have been more mad.
Oh, you were? Okay.
Oh, to say that we were going to a 1-race playoff format and we were going to decide the race with the champion, and the playoffs in general. At that point, I was livid. And we got done with the meeting. I was already mad before I got there. But we got done with the meeting, and they said, well, anybody got any suggestions? I said, yeah. When you get knocked out of the playoffs, everybody who's not in that championship needs to be seeded by how their whole playoffs went. So the points are actually matter. They matter a lot in this format. It just isn't advertised. But and I got done, and it might have been the only time that Brian France ever said I had a good idea. But he's like, that's a great idea. We're gonna implement that. So that's how the point seeding got implemented.
There you go. All the drivers can thank Kevin Harvick for sticking up for
Half of them probably don't even know that's how it works.
Honestly,
probably not. Actually,
we don't talk about it. So how would anyone know that?
But we talk about points so much, and it's such a hot topic right now. And I don't understand why we don't advertise the fact that the points actually matter for your points position at the end of the year.
Yeah. I'm glad you brought it up then.
It seems very old school, traditional, mixed with new. I don't know.
Somewhat, yes. Yeah. So you referenced Hendrick Motorsports earlier. We talked on the last show about how we felt like this round prior didn't go well for them. Do you think they've turned a corner?
Well, I think St. Louis, and you talk about the test and some of the things that they did with their short track program, found them some speed. It didn't find as much speed as the Penske cars found.
They started ahead though.
But the 24 has been consistently better. The 5 has been better. He had some glimpses this weekend of speed. I still don't see the same speed and dominant car out of that 5 car that we saw at the beginning of the year, that we've seen last year. I think Kansas should tell a good story if it is there. They talk about the short tracks, so we haven't heard much about the 1.5 miles. So now we've got Kansas in the mix here to be able to see where that 5 car is. I'm more impressed with the 24 car, to be honest, as far as their consistency of speed. And I think they've been better than the 5. So still don't see it out of the 5, but the 24 I tend to lean towards thinking that they have a little bit of life with how close they are now.
Yeah, I interviewed William during practice and qualifying.
I was surprised that you could interview him, though. I mean, that collar was tight.
But it looked good.
I literally said that to him because we were at BSI making the exchange on PAX. I go, you got that top button up.
The top button up there. Make it look nice and pristine for Kevin, because I knew he was watching. William is confidence.
Yeah.
It's like at an all-time high, but he is so calm.
Yep.
Like the group seems like they're laser focused. Even in his post-race interview, he's like, he's not too high, he's not too low. Yeah. He's just like very matter of fact. Like, this is where we're at. This is what we're doing. We gained some. That works. We got to keep gaining.
Yeah.
And you don't want to go into the Roval in 2 weeks having to get it done at that place.
No.
That's not what you want.
Yeah, that is looming.
Yeah, and I just, I think that, even, we'll get into the chaos in a little bit, but, I think that when you look at the Roval, there's just so many unknowns, and, you've got, Hamlin has been awful on the road courses, and you look at the Fords haven't been great on the road courses. Now the Roval is not. It's not the same.
It's different this year.
It's very different. But just the course in general is different than a traditional road course. But I look at some of those guys that need to have a buffer if they haven't won, and I think that there are a few of them that need to be in that position before they get there.
Mm-hmm. So we've been talking about the teams that had speed. Let's talk about some who did not. And I want to start with Tyler Reddick. And let's hear from him first before we talk about him. He did a post-race interview with a bunch of media members. Take a listen.
Yeah, I didn't expect that, that's for sure. The way the race started, I thought we were going to be able to run the top 10 all day, but yeah, between the brake issues we had and yeah, I mean, it just got away quick, the balance went away, and then, next thing I know, we were trying to battle for 20th, so.
Hopefully, like, whatever you guys fought today, that doesn't carry over to a mile and a half in a road course, does it?
I mean, we've been... Yeah, hopefully not. I mean, I don't know. It just seems like we've struggling all year. I don't know.
Thank you to Matt Weaver for that soundbite, by the way. So when you read between the lines, what are you hearing there from Tyler?
Big trouble. That's what I read between those lines. I think that we've talked about the 45 all year and how they haven't had that speed. You can just tell by his demeanor and the way that he's answering those questions, but the way he's swaying back and forth, I mean, there's just a lot of things that scream, I'm pissed. I don't like where we are. I don't like anything that's happening. I think you can point to the lack of speed. You can point to a lot of rumors, from around the race team as to what might happen as far as, if things go down the path with the lawsuit. So I think there's a number of things to me that interview and the things that he says, the speed is one of them. It's everything. And I don't think that you can get away from that. And seeing how those cars were awful this weekend.
Yeah.
The 23 and the 45 were awful compared to what we expect out of them. And the 45 hasn't had any speed all year. And that is an unhappy driver. Very, very unhappy.
I interviewed him last week, actually, and I referenced this, working through the ebbs and flows of racing. And we saw last year, 3 wins, regular season champion. I said, what's going on? And he said, last year was one of those years where it felt like everything went right. This year, it feels like anything that can go wrong is literally going wrong. But and he was even a little defeated, and that was in Bristol. So what have you gleaned from your conversations with him?
Tyler, I mean, he's honestly, both of their drivers at 2311, Tyler and Bubba, they kind of ride that emotional roller coaster a little bit. Bubba's done a really good job at kind of staying even more, especially since the birth of his son Bex. But Tyler looks frustrated and unknowing about what to do because
almost confused.
Yeah, there was a time not too long ago where it's like, oh, Kansas, that's a 2311 track.
Yeah, because both of them have won there.
Both of them won there. They won like 3 in a row, I think, between the two of them, or something like that. And Tyler looks like they ask him about Kansas running the top, and he's like,
I don't know.
Like this is supposed to be a track that you feel like you got.
Well, if they don't win there,
no,
I think if whichever one, if one of them wins, the other one's out. I just don't see.
I don't see him winning the. I don't see.
I don't see anything that says that the 45 is going to be dominant at either of those places. But it wouldn't surprise me if they showed up and he did, because of his past history. I think with his recent history, I don't think that they win Kansas. I don't think that they go there and win the race. I think that the 23 has a better shot to do that. But if one of them doesn't win, if they don't win, they're not going forward.
Yeah.
I think that they put themselves in a pretty big hole.
This was a pretty rough weekend. And if you're going to have a bad weekend, it needs to be like a contained bad weekend.
Yeah.
And it was kind of outside. If you're outside of that top 20, points-wise, it's usually, if you don't get any stage points, it really hurts you in this stage of the playoffs.
I just, I think that, he looks miserable.
He does.
Yeah,
very dejected.
He just looks miserable.
Yeah. I'm not sure if you've probably never been in that situation, but I'm sure it's got to be very debilitating for a driver when it's just all going wrong.
This is the time of year when you just have to send the message that you want to send, and you got to figure out how to send it, right? Without, and come across as whatever you want it to come across as, because now the way that he looked in that interview, the things that he said, the way that he acted, and just the total defeated, front that he put on there.
Yeah.
Now everybody's going to start asking questions, or at least I am. You're going to start asking questions. In the playoffs, you have to be able to control the message.
Yep.
You've got to be able to control the message, because now people are going to start, not only they're going to ask him again next week, but they're going to ask his crew chief, and then they're going to ask his owner, and then they're going to ask Denny Hamlin, and then they're going to ask Bubba Wallace. And that's the type of interview that leads to the rest of the questions.
Yeah.
And you have to be able to, if you're going to be the guy, you've got to be able to control those types of situations in the media so that it doesn't get to your competitors and your team and all those things to drag it down. And I don't think he intentionally did that, but that's the mental warfare that you have to be the guy.
If one doesn't transfer for the rest of the year, until this lawsuit thing is either in December or figured out beforehand, that's the only questions that they're going to get.
Yeah.
It will not be about racing anymore. It'll only be about the lawsuit.
Performing, yeah. So, Kevin, you mentioned Denny Hamlin.
Yeah.
There's a few items to cover with him today, right, guys?
I don't know what did he do. What did he do?
Okay, so
what did he do? What did he do this time?
Interactions between him and his teammate Ty Gibbs on the track. Very spicy radio from both parties. Very interesting post-race interviews that didn't really share a whole lot. You had an interview with Coach Gibbs saying he believes the drivers should handle it amongst themselves. Denny sort of indicated he feels leadership should have a role in this. So, Kevin, question for you is, how do you think it should be handled?
Yeah, this is a tough one. I think when I look at this scenario, obviously the 11, as you can see him go up from the hash mark right there, straight into the back of the 54, that was intentional, right? There's no hiding that wasn't intentional. I think that they raced hard like this. They raced hard like this with the roles reversed earlier in the race, with the 54 trying to pass the 11. But you could have wiped out all three of them right there. And I just don't understand. Here's the question that I have. Is that the moment that derails Denny Hamlin's 2025 championship? Because of the fact that decision now is a decision that you have to talk about next week. It's a decision that will divide the shop. It's a decision that shows a lot of people that you don't, really have a lot of
don't really care about the other people around you.
And I think that when he made that decision, it could be the moment that derails Denny Hamlin's championship chase for 2025. We go back and we look at a lot of those moments through the years. What are those moments that have derailed those championships before? But that move right there, for 11th or 12th, put him in a position to possibly lose another championship.
In the first part of the race, too. It wasn't even like it was like towards the end. Like, how do you walk into the shop with all the employees of JGR? Like, what do you say to them? Like, you just dumpstered one of the cars that we all work for. And granted, they were racing hard, but someone said, I had a back and forth with someone on X, and I was like, well, Holsevar has done way more to deserve something like that than what just happened.
Yeah.
With how they were racing. Look, man, Denny, there's a documentary about the Dallas Cowboys and Jerry Jones out.
Oh, yeah, on Netflix. Yeah.
And I think Denny Hamlin is the Dallas Cowboys of NASCAR. Like, he is the show. He is the lights, and he gives you all the quotes. And when he wins, it's, fireworks. And when he loses, sometimes it's also fireworks. But the one thing that they talk about across all, especially on our other Fox shows, the Cowboys don't win championships. They win a lot of games throughout the season. Denny Hamlin wins a lot of races throughout the season. He's on his way to eclipse 60. He's a walk-in Hall of Famer. But there's always a collapse when it comes to the championship. And it's hard to, when it's all said and done, it could be there. It could be somewhere else, but
do you think there's more to this story behind the scenes?
Well, I think there has to be, right? And I think that I just, as mature as Denny Hamlin has become, and as much of a leader as he has become, I'm really surprised that he chose that action in that moment during the playoffs for a championship. Now, should the 54 move over? I think you could argue that all day long. Should he move over? Should he not? I think that you could sit on both sides of the fence. But a lot of times, those moments when you're outside of the playoffs and I've been in these moments with my teammates, a lot of those moments are earned during the year as to how it was treated to you. So when you don't feel like that you got those moments treated towards you in the proper way throughout the year, you're not cutting your teammate any slack in those moments. So, I think a lot of that is can be determined throughout the year as to how it's going to work in the playoffs.
Well, you can look at the Team Penske group. Ryan and Joey have been
never did it
at
wrong.
Phoenix at the last race of the year. One time Ryan was in racing Joey for a championship, and one time he was out. Mm-hmm. And the time he was out, Captain said, "Be a good wingman." Understood. Made sure he stood there. He didn't hinder the one, but he was there so no one else could really just get to the 22. And then this last year, he could have put the bumper to Joey. He didn't. He tried to go around the outside. He did everything he did but put the bumper to him, and that was for the championship.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That spot wasn't going to change your championship, but it just wrecked a race car that we have to now figure out what to do with.
Well, it wrecked a race car and put you in the middle of a shitstorm that you didn't need to be in the middle of. And now it's the owner, the competition director, you, 54. You're going to put the 20 in the middle of it, the 19 in the middle of it, and now it's the whole company. Now it's the shop chatter. It really, 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 really surprised me that he made the decision that he made, because it's very evident when you watch the car go straight up the racetrack that it was intentional.
I imagine at Joe Gibbs Racing, they would like to handle this right now. So this is not a lingering issue moving forward, right? I mean, in the meetings this week.
Yeah, but the damage is already done. Mm-hmm. And I think that the drivers and the management team are going to have to, they're going to have to sit down and you have to have a conversation about it. I've been in them. You don't have a choice but to be in the middle of them. So, I think it's always interesting to hear the sound bites afterwards. And, Gabehart stood there for a long time and talked very graciously to the media. Joe Gibbs spoke to the media. The drivers did exactly what they had to do, from not saying more than they needed to say, because when you get in those moments, you better be really careful how you choose your words, because it could absolutely blow the organization up.
The one thing that Denny said that I caught, he was like, we're trying to, he's like, me, the 20, the 19, we're trying to win a championship for his family. And I'm like, I don't know, but he's a competitor. Yes, but so what do you want him to do? You want him to always, and Gabehart kind of alluded to this a little bit, where it's a sticky situation to where Ty's trying to build his own career. Is he always supposed to roll over? And just let someone,
I think that's an unfair comment towards Ty personally.
Yeah, that's what I think
to have that, to have that expectation. So there's not a good solution. From the 11 standpoint, I mean, there is not a good solution as to how it should go, because the damage is already done.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't envy anybody involved with this whole situation.
Super difficult.
We'll have to see what happens with all of that. So one thing I wanted to address briefly before we move on to Kansas is Kyle Busch's performance, and also some of the rumors that are starting to circulate about Randall Burnett. Do you want to elaborate on this?
Well, I think we've all heard that Randall Burnett could possibly be leaving and going to another team, rumored to possibly be Connor Zilich's crew chief. So I don't know if those rumors are or aren't true, but I think we've all heard them. Mm-hmm. And I think that when you look at the performance of the 8 the last couple of weeks, it probably reflects that that there's something going on. Usually when those things happen, they're handled one of two ways, either bad or good. And, I think, I think back to my time at RCR, the best thing I ever did was walk into Richard Childress's office and tell him that I was leaving. It wasn't great in that moment, but it gave the respect to him that I'm going to get way in front of this. This isn't easy. It's not going to be fun while we're sitting here. But how do we build something around it to keep the performance where it needs to be? And we won races, the last year in that position. As late as this one has come up, think about the position that puts RCR in, if that's the truth. as to what they need to do to go find a crew chief and change the 8 car and the way that the performance has gone. So it doesn't feel to me like it was handled well, if that's the way that it was going to go, because we haven't heard much about it, but it is definitely, there's too much chatter about it for it to not have some sort of conversation being had.
Mm-hmm. I feel bad for the RCR camp as far just they seem to be a group that develops some talent and then they get poached a lot. Whether it's the Tyler Reddick situation or now maybe this one with Randall, and I feel bad because you see their steps being taken to be good, and then those people leave and they're really good somewhere else. It's like, dang, you couldn't have been good with us. And it's the combination of a lot of things that make any organization run well and run up front. And if that is the case, I mean, I think you look at when Randall was with Tyler Reddick, a young Tyler Reddick, they made speed and they won races. So if that's the case, I think Randall's a very capable crew chief. It's interesting how that flows with Kyle Busch and who would want to step up to that mantle for him. So,
I mean, do you think that they can put it back in a position that, I mean, I asked you this a couple of weeks ago, that can they put it back in a position to where Kyle Busch can win a race there?
I'd like to say yes, because it's Kyle Busch.
Yeah.
And Austin Dillon's one. I like Austin, but Kyle Busch is better than Austin Dillon.
You think still?
Yeah, but the numbers don't say that. But I mean, yeah. So I'd like to think if he gets the right stuff together and the right person in there, they'll get it done. But I like to think that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'd like to think that. But
well, I mean, we all want to see Kyle Busch win. I mean,
Yes.
it's good for the sport.
Ugh.
It's Kyle freaking Busch, right? There's nothing worse. As much as I've gone through moments where I hate Kyle Busch, right? I've hated Kyle Busch with a passion at moments. That's all come full circle, right? And we're very much able to communicate and have a good relationship. But I can't imagine Kyle Busch going out like this.
No.
Right? It's bad for everything. It's bad for the sport. It's bad for him. It's bad for everything that says Kyle Busch. And I hate to see where it's at.
It's so hard because I think of DW a lot when I was a kid, and it was towards the end of his career. I didn't realize how much of a badass Dale Waltrip was until really working in the sport and then seeing the stories and all the things. That guy was because I only saw the end of it, but that guy was a freaking dog.
Yeah.
I want everyone to end like Mark Martin ended.
Yeah.
And I know that's not realistic, but Mark ended at 50 years old, digging for a championship and walked away with his chest held high and almost knocked off Jimmy Johnson for one. You know what I mean? That's how our great.
Yeah.
That's what I always tell people, oh, you happy that you got out of the car? I always tell them, yep, I led laps in the last race that I ran. I never wanted to go out
non-competitive.
Yeah. And it's just, now you got all the questions. What is it, right? Because Austin Dillon won, it creates more questions that you ask.
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe that Kyle Busch is that bad. I have a hard time believing that. So it's definitely kind of a mess.
When he won 3 races his first season there, I'm like, oh.
With Randall.
Yeah,
it's going to be awesome.
Like, oh, this is going to work.
And going to RCR kind of changed what people thought of Kyle Busch, right? Because Richard Childress is a legend in the sport, has done so much for Dale Earnhardt and myself and been a winner and kind of that blue collar, good old boy, type situation that made Kyle look more presentable to be cool. And, it faded quickly.
Yeah.
We will continue to follow that story with Randall Burnett and where he may be going. So we are going to Kansas next weekend. 2 more races to go in this round of the playoffs. What are teams up against when it comes to Kansas Speedway?
I don't know. Never been.
You're not
there.
supposed to say that.
I've never been there.
I've never won nothing
Never been
there. I never ran.
I think it's all going to start on Saturday, and it's going to be the cars are going to be. It's going to be like super speedway qualifying. They're going to be wide open around the top of the racetrack, and you're going to see who has the trimmed out, doesn't make a mistake. But the hardest part about Kansas when you're running that top is there's a little bit of a bump that when it hits, it makes the car want to go to the right. How do you get through for qualifying, especially and in the race? But how do you get through that first part of the corner without having the moment to get through there smooth and comfortable? Because it's an uncomfortable situation when you're going fast around Kansas or around the top. So you've got options. You can run the bottom of the racetrack. I would never practice a lap down there. I would never run a lap on the bottom unless you were forced to through traffic. I think everything needs to be done middle up, just to keep the momentum up, because the cars are slower than they used to be. Mm-hmm. They were only 2 seconds off the track record this last weekend. So
he said he didn't know. Isn't that funny?
What?
You initially go, I don't know.
I don't know nothing about this place.
We have a very eloquent.
No. I was talking about Loudon. They were 2 seconds off the track record of Loudon.
Yeah.
So still need more power.
Well,
I don't know.
We're gonna find out.
Yeah, I would say.
Who do you think will be the teams?
I think Hendrick.
Yeah, Kyle Larson.
It's been Hendrick and Gibbs.
It's been Hendrick and Gibbs. I mean, Blaney finished third there in the spring, so he had a good run there.
He's good everywhere.
He's good. He just is good.
Yeah.
But do not. This is what the drive from the driver's standpoint in practice, because you got to get up by the fence and you got to figure out how your car is going to be up there and the line and all this stuff. Do not let that thing get into the fence, break a toe link. Like, we do not have enough time to fix this car correctly.
Right.
And I don't know how much effort that they're putting into the back. Like, there's just not enough time to do all the things to make sure we have a good weekend if we wreck in practice or qualifying. Do not.
Do you think the 2311 cars show the same speed they have in the past?
I don't think they have a choice.
Off the bus there.
I don't think they have a choice. Like, they need to be top 5.
Needs to be their best race of the year.
It needs to be their best race of the year. And this is why I love. This is one thing about the system that we have right now is I'm sitting here and I can feel the pressure, and we're not even in the. I'm not even part of the team. It is so intense, and the fact that you could put it all together in one race and it changed the whole trajectory. I love that, but it needs to be the best.
Right now, Ross Chastain, Austin Cindric, Tyler Reddick, Bubba Wallace are the ones below the cut. Do you think that they stay below after this race, or just something?
Well, I think when you look at this race, and you look at Bubba Wallace and Tyler Reddick, I mean they have to have the race of the year in order to get themselves back in position to get to the next round. I think that Denny Hamlin has to have one of his best races of the year, because if he puts himself in a position to be close to the bubble at the Roval, he could find himself in big trouble really quick.
He needs to be 10 up.
Yeah.
From the bubble when he leaves Kansas to the Roval. I feel like they might, because then they can do some things and maybe get stage points, but they're not going there expecting to win.
Yeah, and I think that Chase Elliott's qualifying puts him in a position they've got to figure out. They haven't figured it out, but they've got to figure out how to qualify better. And I know that they know that that's a problem, but it keeps them from scoring points. I think that he could put himself in a position, because he doesn't qualify well, especially if those guys from 2311 show up this weekend and score stage points and all those things that go with that. Ross Chastain, typically really good at Kansas.
Yeah.
So, if those guys show up and run like they typically do at Kansas, they're going to put themselves in a position to score stage points. And a lot of times, if you don't qualify good, you ain't scoring stage points in the first stage. And the 9 always shows up by the end of the race, but you got to score stage points.
If I'm the one, I want to just put a lot of pressure, points-wise, on the guys in front of me, right? Just keep that bubble gap really close, because I think it's 12 to Elliott, and then the next person was like 14, I think. And so, because I would go into it thinking, well, 2311 is going to have a shot. So one of them might win. So just keep your points close. If I'm the 11, we need to make sure we stay.
I mean, he's got a massive.
What's he?
20, I think it was 27 points. But I just, the only reason I point that out is, you never know. He could go there and dominate the race. You never know how this week is going to go. I'm kind of leaving myself an out here because it is Denny Hamlin.
But
right?
don't forget his pit crew.
Yes,
this week and next week
is
not the number one pit crew that he had this past week.
Which they even messed up as well a little bit.
So I mean, there's some problems that could be on the 11 as you go to pit road, is what you're saying. And there's also some problems. You don't know how this week is going to turn out, but it could also go the opposite. Don't Don't underestimate the whole Denny Hamlin scenario. He could go there and dominate and win the race based upon how this week goes. Right? There's just a lot of questions that happen.
A lot of questions.
Early in the week right now. We don't know what the meetings haven't even been had yet.
A lot of question marks that have to be answered at the shop this week.
If only we had a camera over at Joe Gibbs Racing.
I would pay big money.
Hidden cam.
I would pay big money
to see that.
To sit in on that.
That's the real reality show there.
Oh my God. Pay-per-view that thing. That thing has got to be awesome.
Yeah. Okay. So that's Kansas. That's coming up in a few days. Yep. Coming up right now is Mamba's Social Sips.
Hey, let's go. Oh. Cool Kev in the house.
Yeah, Cool Kev's here.
Cheetah Kaitlyn's in the house.
Oh my God.
And the closers around the world.
I thought you were going to refer to yourself as Slappy.
Slapstick. Welcome to Slapstick. Welcome to Mamba's Social Sips. Listen, if you scour the internet, and I talked to Brad in the happy hour show at Loudon this weekend, I said, Brad, there was a video that everyone knows about of you playing basketball. I said, I'm sorry about that. However, you totally redeemed yourself when you got on the diamond. This week, he threw a pitch out at Fenway. Let's take a look at what this looks like. All right, Kev. He gets everyone hyped up.
You ever been there?
Look at him. Yeah.
He's excited. And I was really worried. I was nervous.
Were you at this game?
I thought it was going to go into the dirt at the front of the pitcher's mound.
And that's the worst thing of bouncing in. And listen, that's a strike. It might be crushed over the green monster into the next county, but that was a strike. So
I like the jog, the brief jog there after.
Yeah.
I bet you do.
Yeah. Did you ever throw a first pitch, Kevin?
Yeah, I've thrown a bunch of them.
Yeah? You have, Kaitlyn?
I have.
What?
I got it to the plate. Charlotte Knights.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, it's on camera. I'll show you later.
Okay.
I've thrown a bunch of them.
Yeah.
I threw a couple of them at Yankee Stadium. I've been to Fenway.
Yeah.
Yeah, they probably
just for one
out.
game. Just for one game.
Did the Yankees lose that game?
No, I don't remember. But here's what happened.
Okay, here we go.
Yeah, so
you can tell there was something going on.
Yep.
So Gene Monahan, Joe Girardi, good friends, right? And got to develop a relationship because they're race fans. They always came to Daytona, always involved. So I go up there to throw the first pitch. I don't remember what year it was, probably 15, 14, I don't know. Somewhere in that time frame. And I didn't really realize it at the time that I was being set up, but I was getting set up pretty good. So they had me down in the below with practicing throwing the pitches. Yeah. And so I'm down there and they're like, just get it over the plate. There's no reason to throw it hard. Just get it over the plate. Just get it over the plate. I'm like, oh, that's not the problem. They're like, you don't need to throw it hard. So I go out there and I get on the mound and I'm like, I'm just going to do what they told me to do. So I get up there and I just throw it over there. Big rainbow.
Oh, big rainbow.
Big rainbow gets it over the plate. And I come back to the dugout and they're all laughing hysterically. Well, they have turned the radar gun on and they've turned it up on the board and it said 32 miles an hour.
Oh no!
And
they thought
that was hilarious. I thought that was
hilarious.
pretty cold.
Yeah,
I'd have read it thrown it against the backstop.
Yeah.
The first one that I did was like 2001 or I think it was 2001. Huh. Andy Pettit was pitching that night and I got up there. He hands me the ball. He says, "Whatever you do, don't throw it short. At bare minimum, hit the backstop. But do not throw it short or they will boo you out of this place."
Oh my gosh.
And he hands me the ball. And I just, I remember that. And they're telling me the opposite. He's telling me to throw it hard.
Yeah.
And they're telling me to lob it over the plate. So yeah, they set me up.
Well.
A lot of pressure thrown out that first
A lot of pressure. A lot of pressure. There's some pressure mounting in the Craftsman Truck Series that you can catch on FS1 throughout the rest of this year and every year because we love the Truck Series. Greg Biffle is one of the He's a dog too, but like when it comes to Truck Series racing, he is a legend. And Corey Heim over the weekend tied the 9-win club. Greg was on a beach somewhere
with a lobster.
With a lobster of some kind. Maybe this is in the Bahamas. I know Greg spends a lot of time in the Bahamas. I actually talked to him over the weekend a little bit. He's a great guy, but I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And Corey is just putting together an amazing season and another one, and it needs to finish out how it should.
Yeah,
agree.
Now Lane Riggs though, on the short tracks,
I do.
He's been starting to apply.
You realize that if Corey Heim doesn't win the championship this year,
It's going to be holy hell.
Oh, it's going to be bad.
It's going to be holy
Same
hell.
You
Connor
and all
Zillage.
your
Friends.
points arguments are going to be just completely demolished.
It will be, but at the end of the day, it is what it is.
Oh,
Because it is what it is.
I can't even imagine.
Listen,
If Connor Zillage and Corey Heim don't win the championship.
yeah.
Yeah.
If I won't have to hear about it.
No, you will.
No. If they get like, if it was like a Holsevar deal where they get dumpstered by somebody else, but if it's like a flat tire.
Either way.
Well.
Either way, if
Look,
Corey Heim and Connor Zillage don't win the championship, you are going to get a complete shitstorm, my friend.
It's okay. They knew the system when they signed up. So it is what it is. What are you going to do?
Throw up.
Yeah, well, I might throw up. I might be right next to you. Throw it up. And then, so everyone gives SVG a lot of crap for the ovals.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But this week, even the drivers and Bubba Wallace and him are good buddies. There was a little text exchange.
Funny. Yeah.
And basically the exchange was, if you ever, from Bubba to SVG, if you ever beat me in qualifying, I'm going to retire.
Yep.
And SVG's like, I don't see no retirement post. And Bubba's like, what are you talking about? And he brought it back up. And Bubba's like, oh, damn. Like, he got me. So the fact that SVG, who qualified in the top
10,
yes.
I think
ran
it
up
was
there.
6th or 7th.
Like, did a great job. But I love that guys have that type of relationship.
Yes.
Yeah. SVG got spun out there at the end when Keselowski hit the bottom wall going
That
5
was
wide.
wild. Yeah.
Yeah. Not sure where he was going.
What's going on there?
Might need to get in my glasses.
I mean, Brad hit the wall down there too. So
That's what I'm saying.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Hit the bottom wall.
Yeah, it was impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway,
How low can you go?
Appreciate y'all. Closers, 805-317-4175 if you want to leave a voicemail, and Harvick Happy Hour 4@gmail.com for the mailbag.
There you go. All right, time now for our last call.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, Kansas, 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario, new customers only. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gambling resources, see dkng.co/audio. NASCAR is not responsible for this promotion and used under license.
Before we get into our picks for this week, let's take a look at the best bet of the weekend, courtesy of DraftKings.
Just plus 320 this week. Blaney was, but you still could have done okay.
Mhm.
You could have made,
okay.
you could have made some coin, maybe not some cash, but
Coin.
yeah, a little bit of coin. Maybe just a little bit, but
A wee bit.
take the checkered flag with DraftKings Sportsbook. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code Harvick. That's code Harvick for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings, the crown is yours.
I don't know where my
Where's the
crown-
freaking crown?
I feel like
still waiting on
Oh,
it.
there it is. It's back there.
Oh, okay.
You know what I feel like happened? I feel like Tony sat over here and I thought he stole it because
Moved
that's
it.
something he would do
Yeah.
You
from
think?
last week. Yeah, he would definitely take it or at least leave a note on it, something like that.
Well, there you go. That is the crown is yours. We'll bring it back for next week.
Yeah. Don't worry about it.
Okay, so time to look at the burnout for Ryan Blaney out there in Loudon, New Hampshire,
The
and hand
burnout.
out a
This gets a
grade.
big fat 0.
What
Yeah.
burnout?
Right. Well, his post-race celebration.
That's not good.
That is not good.
You can't. And in his defense, it probably has a motor that he has to race again.
Well,
Yeah.
I was wondering about that because Heim did the same thing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And so they probably are like,
You don't bring your worst motors to the playoffs.
Yeah.
So when you bring all you got to take care of it, but
Yeah.
you still get a big fat 0.
Okay, so this is a
yeah, there's nothing we can.
0.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's
It's a
nothing,
0.
There's nothing we can do about
There's
that.
nothing to
No.
judge.
No,
Okay,
we judged it. It's a 0.
No,
fair.
Yeah.
it's not NA. It's not complete.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get a let's see, what should we phrase this as?
participation trophy.
No, we don't.
No, we don't
You
do-
don't even get
definitely
a
don't do
participation
those.
trophy. We don't hand out participation trophies.
We just
We I have a funny story about that. So Keelan's baseball team, when he was playing T-ball, they gave him all trophies. The whole league got participation trophies, and we walked out of the park.
Boy.
And his mother took the trophy and threw it straight in the trash can before we left the park. And we got in the car, and he's like, "Mom, why'd you throw my trophy?" You either win or you lose, son.
I love that.
That's how we parent.
Good for her. Yeah.
When that
That's the
comes-
problem with this country. Everybody
We
gets a
don't-
trophy for everything.
yeah. When that comes from your mom, you know
It's a
that's
tough
no,
love.
like
Oh yeah.
that didn't even
I
come
like
from
it.
dad. That came from
Yeah.
mom. So like, all right,
Mhm.
understood.
That's
there you
right.
go. Right now, Kevin's got the trophy in the standings.
That's
Yeah,
right.
33 up. Everybody scored points this week, though.
It's good.
3 points for Briscoe.
Congratulations,
3 points
guys.
for Bell.
Yep.
I am still in last.
Good job.
Yeah, that's,
But yeah, you get 10 points for picking the winner, 6 for P2 through 5, 3 points for P6.
So what was the
10.
finishing order this week? So let's see. We had Briscoe. So who
Yeah.
finished higher, Briscoe or Bell?
Bell?
Bell did.
Yeah.
Okay.
You guys only got points because he
So
got.
that means you
into
got to pick
10th.
first.
That means I got to pick first.
Yeah, you got that. You
You're
were the
up.
highest
Oh, I
finisher.
was a high finisher.
Yeah.
Okay.
What you got?
My brain is really like Larson, but I haven't really.
I thought you were going to say your brain is really small,
No,
but I was just going to agree.
That's the only time he agrees. But I'm
Oh,
gonna go
bless.
William Byron. I'm gonna go William Byron.
Man,
I'm gonna go William Byron. Yep.
can't believe we're going to have the same pick.
All right. It was
Go
either
ahead.
William Byron or Chase
I was going
Briscoe.
to see Bell.
You're going with Bell.
Yeah, he's done well there. He hasn't won, but he's had good finishes there in the past.
Oh, Kevin might switch it up.
Yeah.
How confident? Ooh, we got the same one.
Yeah. I don't know. I think that you took my pick. That's my problem.
So what are you
Now
gonna do?
I'm gonna decide. I got to decide if I'm gonna points race,
Right. Are you going?
or should
Yeah.
I let you pass me,
I don't-
or should I points race?
Big
It's up to you.
deliberation.
Yeah.
It's up to you. It
And
doesn't.
you pick two.
Bell.
You pick Bell. Yep. I'm out. I'm not picking either of those.
Okay, what you got?
I'm not sure yet.
What?
we don't
you
have-
have
this
to
is-
make a choice.
Yeah, this is not. We're on a time crunch.
and we are
today.
on a time crunch. So
I like to see Tyler sweat. I think that I'm going to probably pick the 5.
Man.
okay, I knew that was coming. All right, there you go.
I think it's a make or break race for him.
okay.
You know what's
So
interesting is no one picked 2311, even though we all feel like this is
Yeah.
they got to.
Yeah.
32 out of 263, which is 12.2% fans picked Blaney. Make sure you submit your picks. Again,
Yep.
you can get in on this by scanning the QR code on the screen to submit your picks and play along with us. So
Yeah.
we'll have to have everybody do that. All right, what you got on your Thursday show? A special friend that I happen to really like on our Fox family.
Yeah, you guys have enjoyed having all the old timers on here. So we had Regan Smith come on this week,
Yes.
and he's, to me, Regan's story is really intriguing. He went through the end of DEI, he went through the beginning of Furniture Row,
Yeah.
and then kind of went back to the Xfinity Series at Junior Motorsports, and so we kind of touched on all those topics, and then why he decided to go do the TV thing that he does a great job at. So it's always fun to hear different people's stories, and I thought Regan would be fun this week.
I love that pick. Great person. I
Yeah.
look forward to that conversation.
I like watching Regan run when he has to go from the
Yeah.
end of the pit road all the way to the other.
There's a lot of videos of Regan running.
Great.
Oh,
I
you
love
should
it.
see all the cameras and things that we have in the booth, and they'll put them on Regan or you running down pit road when you're in a hurry, but
That's
mostly Regan.
hilarious.
So
Yeah,
he
Regan.
takes a lot of grief in
Regan
the
cam.
ISO.
That's funny. All right, guys, we've covered a lot here on episode 66. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube wherever you get your podcasts. Leave 5 stars, leave a review, send a mailbag question for Mamba here.
Mhm.
All right, we'll see everybody after Kansas.